The idea of revamping the teaching of SRE according to government was to ensure that all schools will teach children about good physical and mental health, how to stay safe on and offline, and the importance of healthy relationships. Those who welcomed an update to SRE believed it was needed to address issues like grooming online, teenage pregnancy, STD, and the changing nature of family. However, many have concerns about the fact that the compulsory nature of lessons would undermine the values of positive family life and healthy relationships taught at home or by their culture and religion. Critics also point to restrictions placed on a parent's right to withdraw their child fundamentally undermines their parental responsibility as being the primary educators of their child. So what changes are being proposed to the teaching of sex and relationship education in schools? What topics will your child be taught? Does the school have to consult with parents before the lesson is taught? Do you have a right to withdraw your child? And what are the consequences if you do withdraw your child without the school's consent? This is a community legal education presentation. My name's Nasir Hafizi, I'm a solicitor, and here's 10 questions answered about the changes to teaching SRE in schools Part 1. Please watch Part 2 in the series about the school's duty and limiting parents' rights. The Children and Social Work Act 2017 placed a duty on the Secretary of State for Education to make new subjects which are relationship education at primary schools and relationship and sex education at secondary schools. These subjects are to be made compulsory via regulation. 1. In primary schools, a new subject is to be introduced called relationship education. 2. In secondary schools, the subject name is to change from sex and relationship education to relationship and sex education. 3. The subject of health education is a brand new subject to be taught in both primary and secondary schools. 4. All 3 subjects are compulsory subjects to be taught to all pupils whether the school is a state-funded, independent or an academy. And 5. All schools must have due regard to the statutory guidance on teaching these subjects issued by the government. Between July 2018 and November 2018, the government sought views for the content of the statutory guidance for the teaching of relationship education at primary schools, relationship and sex education at secondary schools, and health education. Much debate continues about what the finalised statutory guidance will say about a parent's right to withdraw their child from being taught subjects such as sexual identity and LGBT families. It's reported that the final version of the statutory guidance is to be published in 2019, ready for schools to prepare to teach these 3 subjects in 2020. A summary of the Consul document's findings include: many respondents wanted schools to teach about the importance of respect in relationships and raise awareness of different types of family. Opinions were split, however, as to whether it is appropriate to teach any subjects relating to sex education and LGBT relationships at primary school. The consultation document findings for secondary schools included: respondents wanted more teaching in respect in relationships, unsafe relationships, sexual consent, different types of abuse and grooming, where to get support, sexual identity. Other themes that emerged were marriage, sexual health, contraception, safe online relationships, mental health and physical health. The draft statutory guidance for teaching relationship education in primary schools refers to teaching around the following category headings: families, caring friendships, respectful relationships, online relationships, being safe. There are additional topics in relationship and sex education at secondary schools to include intimate and sexual relationships, including sexual health. The draft guidance continues and says, meeting these objectives will require a graduated, age-appropriate programme of relationship education. The draft statutory guidance on health education refers to a focus on teaching the following category headings: mental well-being, internet safety and harms, physical health and fitness, healthy eating, drugs, alcohol and tobacco, health and prevention, basic first aid, and changing adolescent body. Whilst not compulsory, The draft statutory guidance recommends that all primary schools have a programme of sex education which includes preparing pupils for the changes adolescence brings and learning how a baby is conceived and born. The draft statutory guidance states this: a good understanding of pupils' faith backgrounds and positive relationships between the school and local faith communities and leaders help to create a constructive context for the teaching of these subjects. The draft guidance states, schools are free to determine how they address LGBT specific content, but the department recommends that it is integral throughout the programme of study. As with all RSE teaching, schools should ensure that their teaching is sensitive, age appropriate and delivered with reference to the law. Thank you for watching part 1. Please speak to an education consultant if you need support. Please subscribe to Commuter Legal Education so you can watch more videos in the series and many more. Please speak to a solicitor if you need legal advice, and may the justice be with you.